Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
That's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be normal.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Amacha malungi abatukereddeko ku mpewo zaffe za The Alternative Digital Farida bikoberege manya gange njagala okubaaniriza era okubategeeza nti we are live on Facebook. Osobola ogendayo ate munange n'otufuna bulungi nnyo. Osobola okutusanga ku The Alternative Uganda oba Digital TV, ezo pages bbiri ojja kubanga ate otufuna bulungi nnyo. Discussion yaffe gye tugenda okubanga ate obeera nayo ojja kubanga munange ogifuna butereevu ku simu yo, so ngenda kukusaba okozese comment section osobola okubanga oteekamu ekibuuzo kyo, oteekamu endowooza yo ku issues ze tubanga ate twogerako. Yesterday twabadde twogerako government poverty programs eziba zigenda mass poverty eradication programs zibaddewo n'okuviira ddala 1986 nga bagezaako okulaba nga ate bajja bannayuganda mu bwavu, neera nga twabadde tunyumyanyumyamu nga twebuuza lwaki tezikoze, what is failing them. So nno okumalira ddala emyaka 3 nga NRM eri kulwanagana na bwavu mu bannayuganda, naye ng'ate it hasn't registered any success. So if the success is there, it is very minimal era nga benefit nze abantu abali okumpimpi oba abatambuza programs zino nga ate munnaye be basinze okubanga bazifunamu ate nga they are not poor people. It is really bad okubanga ate munange ezo programs zisobera ddala no mu 10 government zezeteekawo simanya emyoga, simanyi bona bagagawale, simanya women empowerment program, simanya youth livelihood fund, bingi nnyo entandikwa, simanya rural agriculture scheme eyo no yaddala eri mu 1990s. byonna ebyo byembala mukwano byaganira ddala okukola gwe abamu aba benefitinzemu well and good, naye nga abasinga teba benefitinze so buli program rejanga neberanga ate tehitinze target yo we regard it as a failure, it has not worked out. So no lunaku lwaleero tugenda kubanga twogera nsonga za politics Abavubuka. Guest waffe Athake okuva mu kibiina kya FDC ajja kubanga ye atubuulira bulungi agwa mu FDC ya Katonga oba agwa mu FDC ya Najjanankumbi. So nno gwe omuvubuka ali eyo nkobereza nnyo okubanga otwegattako sobola okubanga ate twogera ku nsonga ezikwata ku ggwanga lyo naawe ozeetabemu because you need to have okubanga olina kwoteekako ku nation building bintu byonna byoba oyogera oba suggestions z'oba okola, you never know who picks them up. So ensonga lwaki tukubiriza nnyo abavubuka musobola okwetaba ennyo mu kuzimba eggwanga lyammwe mu discussions eziba zizimba eggwanga lyammwe. Nono olunaku lwaleero nkansooke mbayiseeyiseeko mu mawulire we naabanga mmaliriza ddakiika nga 2 omumbejja Alwedde Lilian agenda kubanga negattako n'omugenyi wange ow'olunaku lwaleero omukulu Athake. Tugenda kubanga ate munnaaye tubyogererako ddala nti wano eno ebeera Women Crash Wednesday. It is a Wednesday ennaku z'omwezi ziri 13 omwezi gwa December omwaka 2020. We are counting only the days, 12 days to Christmas, 12 days tuli mu festive season. So no monange twabakubirizanga okusavinga. There is what we call the 52 saving plan, 52 week saving plan. We all know a full year has 52 weeks. So you get 52 parcels. Basa dizibu baso obutono no wandikako 1 up to 52. So every week of the year or saving ya kasente, it is called a 52 saving plan. Twajogerako ng'omwaka gutandika kati njibajjukiza ng'omwaka guggwako tubuzayo weeks ntono nnyo kubanga tu closing omwaka. How much have you saved? Tujja kubanga ate munnange abaana ba savings mbeebaza nnyo. Some of you mwajeyo baasa nga tezinnawaayo because tezinnagwayo, sorry, olwoka nti mwagala okushopping. That is okay. One of my friend had saved 1.4. You girl, I am proud of you. Twenayogera waneno, it was on Mighty Drive, this 52 week saving plan. Okwate basa zino zetusindikiramu ebbaluwa 52 noziwandikako from 1 to 52. So every week of there obeerako ne sente, you are setting a target gamba nze every week nsobola okufuna emitwalo 2 oba emitwalo 5 oba waliwo week ebeera ennungi noteekamu ekyabiri. So no munange no saving for a full year, and guess what, my friend saved for kusimbula. She didn't save anything. Sente zonna yazisaving agenda kusimbula Christmas. I mean to enjoy life in Christmas, and she saved 1.47 sente ezo ngogenda zisimbula muteziba sente ntono. So next year 2024 we are beginning January the first week. We are saving. The good thing, January starts on a Monday. It will be a Monday, the 1st of January 2024. Njagala era I will be here to remind you our 52 week saving plan. Osobola okubanga ate ogenda n'ogula baasa ezo ne tutandika okusavinga fena. We need to get out of poverty fenna nga government tenda tukolako mulimu naffe twekolemu omulimu. Olunaku lw'eggulo Ruto yavuddeyo na declaring Kenya a visa free country to all nationals, to all foreign nationals. Oba oli mufirika oba toli mufirika, gwe munange teweetaaga visa okubanga oyingira ensi ye Kenya. Ono yavuddeyo n'ategeezaako nti era ekintu kino yali yakihitingako ku mwezi gwa September ennaku zaalinga 4 nga tulina Africa Climate Summit eyatoola sides eyo e Kenya mu Nairobi. Naye we yakyogerako, he had actually promised visa free ku eriba Africans boka. Yavuddeyo naku lw'eggulo munnange ng'ali wali e Nairobi na declaring n'agamba nti Kenya right now is a visa free country to all nationalities from all over the globe. Gwe munnange baba weetaaga okuyingira Kenya, you do not need a visa. Teweetaaga ku applying a visa, just genda online. Waliwo obukaka electronic travel authorization kojja okubanga weetaaga. So no munnange osobola okubanga oyingira nga weeyagalira mu kibuga Nairobi. Olwo yavudde n'ategeeza nti era munnange enkola netandika ennaku z'omwezi nga 1 omwezi gwa January 2024. So it is just weeks to it. Gwabadde planning ogende Nairobi, ogende Kenya, mukwano, you don't need a visa, you don't need to apply for a visa. Tobeeraawo ne bakuduping oba ne bakubba mbwatereta sente za visa. tekikkirizibwa. Kenya yavuddeyo nerangirira nti munnange teweetaaga kubanga ate osobola okubanga weetaaga visa okuyingira Kenya, era nga omukulu President William Ruto yabula n'ategeeza nti kino kigenda kuyambako free movement ne trade so mu nsi yaabwe n'okufuluma nti n'abantu kiboostinge ne tourism nti n'abantu abadde bakaluubirizibwamuko okuyingira Kenya kigenda kubanga ate kibangoyera bulungi nnyo. Kinaategereka bulungi nti munnaye waliwo a foreign nation yali complaining I think, but it was not about Kenya, it was about Tanzania. Ngagamba he applied for a visa last year in 2022 and they got back to him this year in October. So munange ensi bwe zibanga ziri mu kuvaayo gamba nti they are visa free. It is a success to us who want to travel. Gwe munange ng'oyagala okutravelinga, oyagala to discover new places. Now Kenya is your place. You don't need to have to pay for a visa okubanga ate oyingira Kenya. Wetaaga ka air ticket ko oba ka bus ka receipt ka bus akakuyingize Kenya nga munange oyingira Kenya ng'otandika kunyumirwa bulamu. I think atusabe nnyo Kenya followinze Rwanda lwakubanga Rwanda opened its borders to only Africans, not the foreign nations. Wakanga ate yo Kenya so musemuko negamba fe byaffe be all over the globe. You want to travel to Kenya, you just come and enter. You have to need the electronic authorization online. You'll have to apply for it, and then oyingire Kenya nga tewali akuba ku mukono era nga jago kubategeza ko abasaidize eri Rwanda bali mukwetegekera kaluka next year aja kubanga ate balonda president waabwe saidize yo e Rwanda. Kati no kinajukirwa nti we bamala okuyisa the Homosexuality Act munange nga president agiteeseko omukono abakulu bavaayo ne baddukira mu kooti ne bagamba nti bamenya amateeka ebintu bingi nnyo ne basaitinga incidences nyingi nnyo era ne bagamba nti abaagala ekintu kino sobola okubanga ate abalamuzi bakitunulamu. Kati n'olunaku lw'eggulo a panel of 5 judges yalondeddwa okulaba nga ate etandika okuwuliriza omusango guno gwa anti-homosexuality bill. Kakati abakulu bana abalopa okuli Pastor Martin Sempa, kuli ba petitioners, kuliko famous journalist omukulu Andrew Mwenda, kuliko Professor Wema Kerere, Businje Kabumba, tuyina abantu bangi nnyo, kuliko civil society organizations nyingi nnyo nga munange zo zakulemberamu ne ba petitioninga. Kakati olunaku lwaleero bagenda kubanga ate balina hearing nga ba hearing applications eza Pastor Martin Sempa ne omukulu Engineer Steven Langa. Kati nno banaavaawo enaku z'omwezi nga 18 that will be next Monday baja kubanga ate batandikira ddala okubanga bawuliriza omusango guno. Bajajjezi abalondeddwa kuliko Deputy Chief Justice Richard Butera, ne tubeerako ne Justice Christopher Gasharibake, ne tubeerako ne Justice Muzamiru Kibedi, ne tubeerako ne Justice Monica Mugenyi, ate owokutaano ne tubeerako ne Justice Godfrey Kiryabwire. Bano nno bagenda okubanga ate batuula mu musango guno basobola okubanga ate munnange baguggusa ensonga nyingi nnyo. Ba petitioners bateekawo bye baagala ne kasooke tuleme kugu preemptinga tusobola okubanga togulinda tulabe botya bwe gunaabanga gutambudde naye nga ebintu birungi si birungi. Homosexuality here at the African continent teri amukkiririza, a few people maybe, naye nga kikontana ne culture yaffe ng'Abafirika, so it is not something okubanga okyenyumirizaamu because it is not our culture. Bwetyo culture y'Abafirika si bweri, so nno bw'ovaayo ng'olaba pastor avaayo agamba nti nedda alwanirira aba homosexuality, mbo rights are rights, someone can be who they want to be. Munange weewunya ensi eragawa, so nno eyo ngenda kuvaayoko sobola okubanga nzirako wali mu parliament. Bano babadde basuubira olunaku lw'eggulo okubanga basisinkana n'abakulu okuva mu Human Rights Commission asobola okubanga ate boogera ku nsonga eza missing persons oba abaana ababuzibwawo. Akati bano babadde disappointed era meeting netagenda maaso olw'ensonga nti omukyala chair owa Human Rights Commission Mariam Wangadia ye report izeka ngate ba commissioners abalala bo tebazze kakati omukyalo ono yalabiseeko mu kakiiko yekka era nno kino tekyalese abakulu nga bali mu mbeera nnungi okuli leader of opposition Mathias Mpuuga n'omukyala akulira parliament oba speaker wa parliament Anita Anet Among. Kakati bano bavudde ne batugamba nti bagenda kudamba scheduling a meeting era nga egenda kuba within next week before next week ends asobola kubanga ate ba prompting all the commissioners of the Human Rights Commission okulaba nga ate babeerawo mu meeting asobola okubanga ate baddamu ensonga eza missing persons. Bano no bava ne bategeeza nti abantu abamu be bagamba mbu bamisinga gye bali era I think last week bava ne balaga omuntu omu mbu gwe babadde ba claiming nti amisinga era bo ne bamuleeta ne bamulaga. Unfortunately omukyala nava nagamba that is not my husband. Mwamuwadde amanya ga bba wange nayo yo si ye bba wange netaaga bba wange. Ebintu ng'ebyo biswaza eggwanga okubanga ate muleeta abantu abatali bebbo olw'okuba nti mwagala okclearinga side yammwe. We want to implore everyone are involved okulaba nga ate mufaayo nnyo ku bintu bya missing persons because you never know omuntu ayinza okubeera next victim. So munnange awo nno omukulu Mathias Mpuuga we yavudde n'alaga disappointment ye n'agamba nti naye ekirungi speaker wa parliament avuddeyo n'abategeeza nti she's going to reschedule the meeting for next week. Abantu bano aba prompting basobola okuba nga ate babeerawo mu meeting eno boogere ku nsonga za missing persons, abantu abaabuzibwawo kubanga nsonga nkulu nnyo era ng'omukulu ono yategeezezaako nti ensonga ezo ze zaabajja mu parliament so tebasobola kubanga ate barelaxinga ng'ate balaba nti bu steps butandise okubanga weebuli. Era n'avaayo n'akubiriza abantu ba Human Rights Commission okuba nti beekuba mu mutima basobole okuba nti balabika in the next meeting egenda okubanga ate eteekebwawo speaker wa parliament basobole okubanga ate baddamu ensonga ez'abantu abo abaabuzibwawo ne human rights violations eziri mugenda maaso yadde nga ye commission evaayo ne defending here and there so babalinze mu commission era tujja naffe okubakubiriza mugende mu commission musobole okubanga ate muwaayo empoza yammwe ziti mpoza anything so musobole okubanga muwaayo information gye mmanyi ku bantu abo abaabuzibwawo. Ng'amaliriza amawulire nga g'olunaku lwaleero URA yavuddeyo nekubiriza abantu mwenna bannayuganda okulaba nga mufayiringayo tax returns musasule emisolo era bano bategeezezaako the government counts on us the taxpayers kati bwe mubanga temusasudde emisolo ate ne mudemandinga services bibanga ate tebikwatagana. Omukyala Sala Cherengato nono nga ye commissioner of domestic taxes yavudde n'ategeeza bannayuganda bannaye musasule emisolo because it is your civic duty as a citizen okulaba nga ate osasula omusolo. Era ono yategeezezaako nti emisolo gino gye musasula gye gikola enguudo gye gigula eddagala mu malwaliro gye gikola ebintu bingi nnyo scholastic materials mu masomero ne mulaba nti ate abaana basoma oba omuntu ogenda mu ddwaliro n'osangayo eddagala oba oyita ku kkubo n'olaba nga teririimu binnya. So buli bwe mulaba Kampala ng'ajjudde potholes nga mumanya you are not paying your taxes which is not true anyway naye nga bannayuganda babakubiriza musobole okuba nga ate musasula omusolo gwammwe. Ono yavuddeyo na expressing a gratitude ne yeebaza abannayuganda abafuddeyo okulaba nga musasula emisolo gyammwe n'agamba nti you have mwategeera your civic duty as citizens era nalo n'ensonga lwaki mwandibadde nga musasula emisolo. Ono yavuddeyo n'akubiza ne Ugandans living abroad. Ono n'ategeeza mbobeera tax resident wa Uganda era kiba kikakatako okusasula omusolo. Ugandans living abroad. So nno yategeeza nti munange bannayuganda abali ebweru mukyali ba tax residents ba Uganda so kibeera kibakakatikako okusasula omusolo. Era ono n'ategeeza mbu mukozese online portal sobola okubanga mufayiringa returns zammwe sobola okubanga ate musobola n'okusasula yo taxes mu budde musobola okulaba nga is not double taxation kubanga omuntu aba asasula gy'abeera ate asasule ne Uganda. I think a lot of people will need a lot of information about it because when Uganda living abroad, most of those in European countries basasula heavy taxes in the countries they live in. Ate bw'ovaayo n'omugamba nti oyo Omunayuganda ate still abeera tax resident wa Uganda aba alina okusasula omusolo. You declare your income ne basobola okubanga ate osasula omusolo omutuufu. So nekyo nno kigendera ddala erimwe Bannayuganda basobola okuvaayo mu declaring your income eri URA basobola okubanga ate babateekako babagereka omusolo oguli appropriate okusinziira ku income yo. Ngenda kubanga ate nkomenkereza amawulire gange g'olunaku lwaleero ku dakiika 2 ezakayita ku ssaawa 2. Ngenda kubanga mpumulamu ku katono nnyo bwe tunaakomawo. Ngenda kubanga mbawa quote of the day era nga nja kuba negatiddwako my co-host Omumbejja Lilian Luwedde ate n'omugenyi waffe ow'olunaku lwaleero Arthur K. A very good morning.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
What at the church, though?
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, recorder. Do you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Less Up Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 08 0090. You can also check up at Less Up Stores on all our social media platforms. Less Up, craft your own footprints.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704 11 1720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Tukulikeyo mukuwumulamuko kyali ku Mighty Drive ekitundu kibeera tukyali mu sawa yaffe esooka eya show yaffe. Ngenda okukubiriza ennyo twegatteko ku discussion eno ng'okozesa comment section oteekemu ekibuuzo kyo suggestion yo sobola okuba nga ate show ekunyumira bulungi nnyo. Nze Farida Bikobere negatiddwako Omubeja Lilian Luwede ate ne guest waffe olunaku lwaleero Athake olino nga political activist okuva eri mu kibiina kya FDC. Tugenda kuba nga twogera ebintu bingi nnyo. We are seeing a lot of split in FDC. Tulaba abalala bakola mobilization, abalala bali mu kalulu akawedde. So ebintu bingi nnyo bigenda mu maaso side eyo. Agenda kuba nga atubuulira ali ku side eri mu mobilization oba ali ku side eno eri mu kalulu. Genda kuba nga ate byonna tubimanya. We are going to be discussing youth influence in shaping internal political party policies. By youth mwenga mwe influence ya mweriwa okulaba nga ate mwe influencing policies ezikolebwa mu bibiina bye muba mu subscribingamu. So nno twegatteko naddala bw'oba oli muvubuka oba toli muvubuka osobola okuba nga otubuulira what is not happening, what is stopping you from participating. Mulemesebwa waliwo are there any obstacles oba just mwesuuliddeyo gwa nagamba after all tulina ababitukolera. We are tired of seeing the same faces nga balina ebintu byebimu bye ba fronting naye nga we have able youths in those political parties. Naye kimu bibiri ng'olaba face yemu tujja kuba twagala okulaba anti youths empowered enough mu those political parties oba naye eriyo okusosola kwe tuvumirira eri mu kibiina ekiri mu kubanga ate kitambuza oba ekiri mu buyinza. Our quote of the day is think what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. Think what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. Weki kyokoledde ensi yo nga tonnabuuza ensi ye ekukoledde ki. Buli lw'oyagala omuntu omu akukolere nga gwe tonnafaayo nnyo okukola you will be disappointed. So as a citizen kikukakatekako okuba nga olina kyokoledde ensi yo. Teweetuulako butuuzi ng'owoza ebintu bannaye ebintu birungi si birungi. Nze siriimu mu politics, nze ebya politics sibyagala naye nga ate ebintu ebisinga ogera maaso wano birimu by'obufuzi. So bannange njagala okubakubiriza ennyo musooke mwekube mu mutima nga mwebuuza what have you done for your country before you ask what has your country done for you. Very good morning, mbaniriza to the show. Muje tunyumyemu. We have a youth in the studio, so discussion egenda kubeera very lively because we are all youths in the studios. Good morning, Lilian.
Good morning, Farida. Good morning, our viewers. Bane mwe bali kutambula naffe Mighty Drive n'olunaku olwayo twagobye dda kubanga tubaweereza. Nze Omubeja Luwede Lilian mu butalandagga nnyo kansooke nnyaniriza omugenyi alamuse kuba tulaba show tugitandikira omwami Athake tusanyusa okulaba.
Nange nsanyuse. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and of course our dear viewers wherever you are. My pleasure, of course, to welcome you to this morning show. And of course, I will take this very opportunity to thank you guys, you people, for the continued effort and that relentless spirit of doing whatever you can as far as liberation struggle is concerned.
Thank you.
So for us, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm here today and of course ready to talk to you guys. Be on.
Okay. Before we even dive into the discussion of the day, olimu FDC eriwa the Katonga faction or the Najjanankumbi faction?
Of course, every reasoning individual, the muntu yena ategeera ali ku side ey'amazima, and that is Katonga. To me, the word Katonga function, I don't know why you media personalities you are bringing it, because for us we don't, we don't subscribe as Katonga function. No, as the real FDC.
And Kati, for us, we know that the FDC headquarters are in Najjanankumbi. So that's why we...
That for us, we have been telling people, by the way, that the thing headquarters, that is just premises. A party is made by people, not just a certain something, a kiosk somewhere or whatsoever. So for us, we define ourselves as the real FDC, not the Najjanankumbi. Those are just buildings. But a party is made by people, not just mere people trying to...
But there are people in Najjanankumbi. There is the president of the FDC. Actually, the whole administration is in Najjanankumbi.
You know, we suspended that president. And I don't know you people why you cannot address that person as a former president of the FDC. We suspended him together with the Secretary General.
But he's still the party
illegally.
president.
There are people, of course, you know.
Now when they're introducing him, they say, let's introduce the president of the forum.
Because there are people who are doing illegal things. Illegal things. So for us, we don't take him as the president of the FDC. Please, for those who are watching us, dear viewers, the president of the FDC is Elias Lukwago. That is what people should know. Apparently, that is our interim president of the FDC. Because we had a delegates conference, of course, convened by Engineer Waswa Biriwa, and you saw everything and how things happened. So when somebody stands and says that is the president of the FDC who was just simply ngolaba mubbi bintu byonna bya bubbi bya kiyaye buyayi. So chovola bambagamba nti ekiriko akaseera kano fe ng'aba FDC mu special abavubuka in fact twatandisa akalulu the real grassroots elections twatandise nga mwenda era twagala mulindirire ekinaava mu ekyo twagala bategeeza nti FDC not those people who are trying to
so kambozeemu abantu bano abagala bwe mbanyagala kadi ya FDC ngenda wa
you see these things, even if you want to see that those people what they are doing is really illegal, they had faced out those party cards. Personally, I went there. I went there and they told me that yes, they said that the issue of party cards has been faced out. Kari kakorio iranze nabagamba nti bano ke batandise bino byabwe yaye ekibiina kigenze wa Mwami Museveni, because you cannot phase out something. Surely ekibadde kisooka kireeta sente mu kibiina as one way of getting money in the party, and again boosting morale n'abantu li n'amanya naye nyumiriza mu kibiina n'amanya nti nze ndi wafadacha kada yange yino kangende njiro ni winge n'ebirala bwe bityo. Ne constitution yaffe kirambika bulungi nti omuntu okubeera member w'ekibiina alina okufuna party card. Kitegeeza omukulembeze w'otuukira okuviolatinga constitution y'ekibiina ebyaddala oba okyali mukulembeze oba otandise okunoonya ebibyo
aba yeetaga kulungamizibwa.
Si kulungamizibwa, omuntu bw'aba nga atandise okuva ayagala kuva ku mulamwa bw'atyo bw'atandika. Because nze kwomu by the way nze omu kwabo abaasooka okukasuka ejjinja erisooka kwabo abakulembeze baffe even before this money issue for 2 weeks. After going there, ne bangamba nti party cards are no longer available. Nembabuuza ekibuuzo for what reasons? Ne bangamba we now want to use registers, we want to do what? Naye nga it was a tactic nga baagala okubba akalulu. Kubanga at first they never knew nti ebintu bino bigenda okulandaga bituuke wala. So for them they knew bigenda koma out tugenda mu kalulu batubbire mu kalulu. So for them their chief mission bali baagala okola ki okutegeka akalulu nga tekali free and fair. Kati nga one first and foremost nga baagala ku disengaging the youth from participating in the elections. Kati kwe kufezinga what they call party cards. Nga ye gundi yawe tactique esooka ey'okwononera ddala kintu ne bakyediza bonga bo. Of course, so they knew that we will go into that election. So ne phasing out of that. So it was one of the first tactics. Era nze nenkasuka ejjinja erisooka ne bagamba bano abasajja tebakyali bakulembeze. Era ne ngamba they will not organize a free and fair election. Because first and foremost, they wanted to make registers and register their own people. Bebamanyi. Babalonde from grassroots elections mpola mpaka waguru because bali n'ekirowoozo nti abanaava mu villages parish bichi bebagenda balonda mu delegates what bafuke bachi ba president. That was their chief aim. Nga tetunaleeta zino ensonga tutuuke n'okwawukana naki n'aba abasajja. So muntu yenna nga ategeera really nga alina sense of understanding alabira ddala okuviira ddala mu ntandikwa nti bano abasajja tebali ku mulamwa. They have a hidden agenda. Naye nga bw'omanyi has been telling you tulina omulembe gwaffe gw'abavubuka nga ddala amazima baagamanyi naye olw'okuba either enjala emuluma enjala emuluma abamu balina buposition obutonoatono omwo mwe bafuna ekyokulya amazima baagalaba naye n'agakweka n'agamba waayo ekintu kifu naye kangende n'ekifu. So we have the youth who are surely vulnerable. Ngate ekizibu kye balina, they cannot stand their ground and say the bitterest truth. That is one of the challenges we have. Nti nabo bolaba who are surely nga bakolegana bulungi buterevu n'abo abasajja baffe ab'enajja nankumbi bakimanyi ddala nti there is no future of the FDC with those leaders, but simply because they were given some peanuts, daire busente sente obutonoatono ne babasuubiza fake promises ne batambulira awo naye nga bakimanyi nti the future of the country, because we in position we usually understand that our political parties are the future of the country because they are fighting for change. Naye nga bakimanyi butereevu ebyaddala nti the future of the country teriiwo with such a fake leaders. Ab'enajja nankumbi. So they are fake. So nga bwemaze okunyonyola nti okuva mu ekyo bwekyalimu, of course, because after we then resisted. We resisted such a kind of malaki because it was an essential act. Ebyaddala ng'okirabira ddala.
Before you went on social media to put that post, had you engaged them, or had you looked for ways of engaging these people?
I personally, because before even I went there were rumors in WhatsApp groups, on social media, and of course when you meet individuals who are of the FDC, of course there were rumors. Party cards, so personally I said, let me go there. I went there. At the FDC party headquarters. And of course, twali tusemberedde bwe ebiseera bye bali bataddewo ebyakalulu. Kati nze nganze nengendayo. So they told me that. Kwe kubabuuza, why didn't you communicate? Because people do not know what is happening. So, and of course they had nothing to say. Even when I went there, some ran away and they hid themselves. That's the reality of the matter. Because when I went there, they knew that maybe I have come to ask for something, because I had already indicated on my social media platform that I'm coming there generally to ask about what the party cards. So when I went there, that's all they had to tell me. It was structured. They had told them what they should tell whoever comes to ask. Of course, when I went back, I told my members, my fellow comrades, to resist that, and we resisted it. Actually wanted to force it out, but we found it not working. Because you see those guys, I call them absolutists now, because they have that excess power. That is not how leaders really behave. So, having failed to do really because that their plan was unsuccessful, so from there, they started now bribing, paying huge sums of money, including reaching at an extent of bringing the faces and putting them at Najanangombi to prevent whoever does not surely believe in their ideas from entering the premises. Some of us can no longer really access our premises, which our grandfathers and fathers toiled for, see that surely they stand. So they started, of course, preventing us from, that is what I call disengaging the youth, from participation, from, policy making, from whatsoever. So we are completely disengaged. So now, those guys, of course, later on, you saw them when they, because now the money issue came, around, and
they had to go on the defensive.
Yes. So you saw them trying to doctor something, surely, because, and of course, the other gentleman who was in charge, of course, the other elders committee, which was in charge of trying to see whether it is true, whether the
claims are true.
Whether the claims are true. Of course, where those guys gave them huge sums of money, they doctored the report, and we resisted it. But of course, at the other day of delivering that report, they brought the chiefs, they brought the military men. I was there. Most of our people were beaten. Others, surely, jailed and incarcerated. Our own members beaten by our own people. So there was case and havoc at the FDC party headquarters. So all of those processes, of course, every sensible Ugandan could surely, even before we reach far, could understand that these people have lost the course. They are no longer on the course of liberation. So for me, even before I reach far, I would like to tell our dear viewers, wherever you are, that we no longer have the FDC. That's the reality.
What do we have?
That FDC at Najanankumbi is not, I don't know, it is an NRM, I don't know how I can call it. But those people are really collaborating with the NRM.
NRM leaning.
Not even leaning, I don't know. They
So
are real.
What of what you guys have at Katonga, isn't that FDC?
That is the FDC
That
we
is
have.
the real FDC.
I'm trying to let people understand, because if there are people who still think that there is FDC at Najanankumbi, those people need to be tested whether their brains work properly. I don't know whether you understand me well. If there are still people
We
who
have
think
elders who are there.
the elders and
The elders committee side is in Najana.
Yes.
the elders, the problem we have in this country,
they are still in
and by the way, let me tell our people that the problem we have in this country apparently are the elders. Are the elders. Because, you know, long ago, we used to think that being an elderly is wisdom or knowledge. But now it is the opposite. Because we are seeing people who are old doing nonsense. We are seeing people who are old really losing track completely, and also failing to do what surely is supposed to be done. So the elder at Najanankumbi, I don't know how I can describe them, but they are opportunists, they are self-centered, they don't mind about the future of this country. Because if surely they would be honest people, they would have been redirecting those guys at Najanankumbi, the power and Mafari axis. They would have been telling them that no, what you are doing is wrong. This is not the core mission of the FDC. Because those guys, when we talk of the elders, we mean those guys who are those are founder members. Most of them are founder members. And they know how FDC has been moving.
Yeah.
They know the core mission. But simply because of peanuts, because even those elders were given peanuts, amazing, you see, they were given peanuts. I know most of their stories. Others were catered their medical bills, and from there they said, if you have catered for my medical bills, then I'm supporting you, whether you do bad or I don't want to mind. So the elderly and people should know that those elders at Najanankumbi, they are just old by age, but for the case of understanding, really it cannot take Uganda forward.
They understand what they are doing.
When you do wrong, that is why the problem with our people apparently is that they don't want to describe people how they are. When you do wrong, then your understanding surely must be, at least, it lacks something. When you do wrong, because everyone who is understanding must do something which is right. That's the reality of the matter. That surely, if you are an elder and you are seeing properly that things are not moving the way they should be moving, you really know it clearly that there was some money that entered surreptitiously into the party. Why can't you stand your ground and say it? I saw Jack Savitt, who is an elder, saying that it's time for us to eat. And he told some of his colleagues that for him, he's tired of teaching because he's a lecturer. So he said, now for me, I've been in the struggle for so long, so if there is some money, why can't we share it? But he's an elder. Somebody of that caliber, the Jack Savitt we knew, who was always advocating for change, changing words like nothing, simply because of peanuts, because we call them peanuts, because Museveni's money has never been, you eat it, it has never been enough.
Yes.
You see? So when you talk about the elderly and their choices and their decision making, for us now, we no longer give them that honor simply because of whatever they are doing.
Nekati mwenga abavubuka eno split eriwo ebalesewa you as the youths of the FDC. Is it upon you to decide where to go? You think where you think?
What I told some of my colleagues, what I told some of my people, is that we can keep resisting because we still have that hope. Because for us, we are, as I've told you, that we have structured and said from 9th to this date, we are into that very direction. Parish and whatsoever as they move. So for us, we do not want to mind, and we are telling our people not to shake and start thinking of where should I be or what. The FDC is there. We have our party president, we have our secretary general, we have our people. Parties are made by people.
Do you have party cards?
Party cards at the moment, that is not the biggest issue, being that we are a bit sabotaged from the resources and whatsoever. It is in the pipeline. Because for us, we cannot make a party stand without party cards. But simply because there was that kind of confusion, now we are into the process. First getting those people, of course they are available and they are there. Real FDC members are there. So from there, then that process will be what? Will be at least put into practice.
Nete mulowooza nti waliwo confusion gye muteese mu bantu nti abamu bajja kuba bakavaayo bali mukola mobilization, they are mobilizing for the party, ate mwe abalonda namwe muyingire kino kyekimu.
Of course you cannot rule out confusion. More so when you are led by, self-seekers. You cannot rule out confusion. More so if you mistakenly elected self-seekers. You can never rule out that. If the people you thought were after liberation later turned into opportunists. So confusion, you must obtain it and look for the solution. Confusion always has, every type of confusion has a solution. We are in this confusion, true. And, but we are looking for a solution. The solution is us, the youth, and those who understand the right, engaging with the right direction. The right direction is going into these elections, of course, which will end next year, and we see the way forward. From there, that confusion will be solved. We have all that hope. Because as I have told you, and I will keep telling you, that surely a party is made by people.
Exactly.
And at the moment you can see it, because even you saw their delegates, which was almost made of, people who are not known, and there were few people. It shows you that those people are now losing ground, seriously. So we have our people, they are there, and they are yearning, of course, waiting for our decisions and how we shall really obtain this.
Balance the direction, yeah.
Yes, and already we have started, and now hope has returned back. That's the thing. Yes,
Abake oyogeza manji, but I think waliwo or wakyaliwo obuzibu bunene with you people of the FDC. Naye nze ekyo njagala tukireke tutambule tugende ku nsonga endala kati tunayingira our main discussion of our topic of the day. I want you to paint for us a picture of what you have been observing, not necessarily in the FDC, naye mu nsi Uganda nga bweri ku nsonga za politics specifically. What is going on?
And of course, to talk about that very topic,
yes,
we start by saying that the elderly, you see now, the youth, for the case of the youth, they are the most affected demographic group of people. That's the reality.
Yeah, true.
People who almost take almost 3/4 of the entire population. The youngest in the whole world, Uganda. And we have people who are occupying positions, the elderly, who don't want to mind about this demographic group of people. This demographic group of people, which is unemployed, which is impoverished, which is suffering, which is almost moving here and there without any direction. They have been left to be directionless. Of course, deliberately by those who are in power. People who are in power, you know them, they are the elderly. And they don't want to leave power. But again, they don't want to put up really policies that favor the majority or the youth, because the youth are the majority. So now the biggest problem we have is leadership. Nothing else. Leadership, that is the biggest problem. The leadership of the NRA, I don't call it NRM, because for me the word movement surely means something that is moving. If it is socio-economic, there must be transformation. There must be development. So for me, I think it is still the NRA, it's still the army that is still taking, that is still taking control of this country. So it is the National Resistance Army that is surely trying to do all this kind of
So
things.
according to you, there is nothing like movement with this NLM?
No, it's not the movement. The word movement surely means something else.
Yes,
you
movement
cannot talk
can be, you can be moving backward.
You
or
cannot
in,
talk
or
of,
in front,
as
but
far
there
as
should be
politics is
movement.
concerned, when you talk about the term movement, you are trying to tell people that there will be some kind of transformation, socio-economic transformation, something that is not stationary or rigid. This NRA has been stationary for all these years, now close to 40 years. You see, we are almost going to 40 years.
Yeah,
so for the case of our, our economy, everything is stationary. And you talk of movement, which kind of movement is that when the economy there is economic downturn, everything is stagnant? What kind of real movement is that?
Mr. Museveni said by the time he became the president of Uganda, Uganda's economy yali wansi, but right now tuli mu kusenvula, tuli mu kweyongerako, tuli mu
You see, for the case of Mr. Museveni, he has known that surely he presides over a huge supply of idiots. He knows his country, that most of the people, surely their reasoning is still wrong. He understands that even when he comes on media, TVs and tells lies, nobody is going to question him. Even when it is crystal clear that what he has said is completely wrong or not right. That is what he mastered. He mastered the people he is leading. He understands that for us, we don't want even to see through and say, no, what you have said is not right. When you say that Uganda's economy was either was down, now it is growing, when we are growing up, even the Brits who were ruling us managed to make at least this infrastructure, managed at least to put some infrastructure development. We had a railway which was moving from Jinja here to Kasese to Pakwach, which are no longer really working. We had working industrial areas. After how many years?
After 37 years.
After how many years? You are in power. After some time when the Uganda airlines collapsed, then you bring it back after almost a couple of years. What is that? Which kind of economic growth is that really? So, Mr. Museveni, as I've told you, he mastered his what? He mastered his people. He understands.
And that is a good characteristic of a leader. Understand the people you are leading.
And you saw that those are characteristics of a dictator, someone who has dictatorial tendencies. Of course, dictators are always, they are always lying. They are good liars, actually. One of their characteristics is that they are good liars. They will even lie you something that is open, that even a brain can see with their eyes.
So according to you, Athake, Mr. Museveni's government has not done anything.
When you say that the government has completely done nothing, then you are also trying to lie people. But for us, when we are trying to measure economic growth, we try to measure through, to a greater extent, for example, what you have done and what you have not done, what overweighs, what is really overweighing one another. You get my point where? Like man. Ebanga lyomaze mu buyinza. What have you achieved? Kyekisinga obukulu. Kubanga tosobola beerawo nga tolina kyo achieving. First and foremost, let me tell my people who are listening and who are viewing that kyasooka achieving kwe kulabika nti there is a small group of people that are surely the kings of this country. They have got everything. What he has made sure of is that the minority, the few who are inside his circles are now the kings of this country. They have everything. That is his first achievement. The family members, relatives and friends who don't even make 20% of the entire population, actually even 10%.
Yeah.
That is his first achievement. And that is an achievement. They are the ones owning everything in this country. They are the ones who have a say. Impunity of the highest order, you cannot talk about them. They will come and grab your land. You are in news and everything. You are hearing of land grabbing and everything. They can, embezzle huge sums of money, and they don't do anything to them. You had the Jim Wezes of Rukunjiri, when he embezzled the money for, was it Global Fund? And they expelled him, did everything, but now he's the Minister of Security. So it shows you that there are people, of course, the minority, who are really the beneficiaries of this regime. And he has sure achieved that he's catering for, he minds about the few, not the entire populace. So that is one of the achievements. Another achievement, what else? Sure, if you see around when we are dying of poverty, when you see around the infrastructure, load network in Kampala itself, if you see how the agriculture sector has been completely destroyed, if you see the industrialization that is also benefiting the few, the investors who also bring their people from their countries, not even employing our own people, if you see where else the health sector that now going to Murago, surely, which we thought could be maybe a free health institution catering for the unprivileged, that if you go there, there is no medicine, and they now reach at the point of putting a big pharmacy within Murago to show to you clearly that there is no medicine in Murago, you have to buy it. To tell you that coming to Murago, come with some money because there will be no medicine. So you go to education sector whereby the poor cannot educate his or her child.
We have UPE.
UPE,
That's what President
you see, that is why I say that this country needs to be, there must be people, really, people who should be living in this country should be people who don't reason well. Because when somebody stands out and talks about UPE, when myself, I started studying when there was UPE and I never saw free education, I don't understand your point. There has never been something like free education. I had a friend who was coming from Ghana, and he told me what free education means and how those people are benefiting through what we call free education. And when you compare ours with that of Ghana, you understand what we are talking about. That there is nothing like free education.
What does it mean?
Free education in simple terms, that even the poor who doesn't have how to survive and whatsoever should be able to take his or her child to school. That is what it means, basically.
They offer you books, pens, they offer you
even in the Okote regime, when I was growing up, I was seeing some books, the covers, and I tried to ask, they said no, during our days, they could provide the books. Yes, that's the reality. You heard of Dr. Kizabes talking about how they could provide most of the necessities at school during the Okote regime.
Do you realize that our population has grown and so access to
education? And when the population grows, the issue of population growth has never stopped China from developing. Because China has the biggest
population.
But
there are things that they no longer do that they used to do.
Whatever the circumstance, really, what, I don't know what, because now, if you are a good leader, first and foremost, you should be aware that there will be population growth. So you should be aware, you should be, that is what we are fighting for, that we have a country that does not see the future. Because if we are 45 million people, now almost going close to 50, because now they have too long without doing population census.
Launched the
census. Yes. Sure, you should be knowing that by other 20 years we would be this kind of population. Then you plan for that population.
So the opposition does checks and balances. Have you done so?
For us, you see, we, the opposition, as I told you, for us, we have been crippled. The opposition has no say on anything. Please, you people, you should understand that the opposition is crippled.
But this time around, when it came to human rights violations, at least there was a voice.
That voice, I don't know why. I don't know.
Issues that are affecting
for me, when I send you to go and fetch water, if I was expecting a 20-liter jerrycan, and you bring 2 cups, I will not clap for you. That's the reality of the matter. If I send you to go to the spring or wherever to bring a 20-liter jerrycan of water, for example, in just 20 seconds, or 20 minutes, and in just the whole day you manage to bring 1 liter, I will not clap. Instead, I will beat you. You get my point? So for the opposition doing that, for me, I am not among those who will clap for them, that they did something. For all the years they have been in parliament, for all the issues we had, including when we had a very strange crisis, when fuel was up and other things, and then you come and do this thing and you want us to clap for you because you are targeting elections. Sure, we are not among those people who would be blindfolded. Because for them, they are tacticians. Now they know it's nearer 2026. They will do more things. Try to tell you that for them they are active. But of course targeting positions and being re-elected. There is nothing they have done. You people don't appreciate those minor achievements. We want something on a bigger scale that provides hope.
An achievement is an achievement, whether minor or big.
But there are achievements which you cannot even clap for. That is the thing. And we should learn not simply appreciate each and everything. We should learn that. We should really always aim for bigger goals that will change the face, that will change the entire thing. Our aim is not about that. Because now, what is the root cause of that? Why are people being kidnapped, and why are people being incarcerated, and why are people being illegally arrested? What is the root cause?
It is a leadership question.
It is the leadership. So for me, you see, when you have a wound and you don't treat really the inner cause, that wound will remain there. I hate people who will try to plaster, I hate such a kind of people. What you do is to look for the root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem, as I continue telling you, is the leadership issue. We want to see voices questioning the leadership of this country. We want to see voices talking about transition. We want to see voices talking about this dead regime. We want to see people standing their ground and saying, no, enough is enough. If it is resisting 2026 elections, let's do so. Can they do that? They can't. They can't. So for us, the minority, the unprivileged, the marginalized, really, how do we benefit from such at the end of the day? Because for us, we are looking at the future of this country. Where would our country be 20 years from now? How will we survive? The children we are giving birth to, how will they survive in this country? Surely that has been looted by the minority. Every resource has been completely looted. If you see around here in Kampala, there is a question surely that is still there, and people should surely take serious, because people are looting on a daily basis. There is now open extortion of funds by policemen. Everyone is now a thief who cannot even hide him or herself. Apparently in Uganda you cannot, and some years back, people had that kind of shame and they could hide themselves. They no longer hide, and kintu kidogo now openly, because it seems it is allowed.
I want to disassociate myself from the thieves, the group of the thieves. I am not a thief. So bataitaka kubategeza watugendako mukuwumula muko katono nnyo naye ng'ebintu birungi si birungi waliwo yagambya ana mwe mwatusisiza nnyo oli yabbye miliyoni 4 naye ne muwandiika ebina mwakitusiza naye nga okubba kuba kubba oba wabbye 10 oba mutwalo ffe naye tugamba ekikumi oba wabbye as long as oba wabbye tuli baddembe n'okuteekako emitwalo gya dola kubanga oba wabbye sente za muwi wa musolo tujja kisoosowaza paka wetunajjamuko kale tunakendeeza kukubba sente z'omuwi wa musolo tuwumula muko katono nnyo tukomawo.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak. either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704 11 1720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Tukulikeyo mukumula mko tuli mchitoro chafe cha kubile cha Mighty Drive. We still have Arthur K from the FDC Katonga. Agambe, he doesn't understand what to gamba Katonga faction. Na yeah, the thing that the party split and those two groups are still in existence. We have to say the Katonga faction and
each one of them has a president.
And each of the groups has a president. Abena jana kumbi baina Patrick Oboyamriat, ate abeno e Katonga baina Omulodi Elias Okwagoye, interim president of the FDC Katonga faction. Tuli mukwogera nsonga za Abavubuka, nsonga ezigenda maaso mu ggwanga. Kati I want us to go into our discussion of the day, youth's influence in shaping internal political party policies. Muliwa, are you being involved? Are you being sidelined? What is happening? What is your influence?
Of course, from the word go, even before this confusion that is happening inside our political parties, from the word go, the youth have been surely sidelined. That is why even before all this, how those leaders are handling matters. Because they had deliberately killed activism in the youth league.
Yeah.
Actually, in the FDC, we had surely an inactive youth league. So that means it was one way of sidelining them.
Yeah.
So the youth, most of the times, are not always taken as serious people. That is the problem we are facing. But apparently,
there must be a cause to that attitude. Why do the elder group take you as unserious people?
We have people who want to fill their stomachs and want, they don't want to be questioned, of course, and talked about even when they do wrong. We have that tendency in African culture. We have that culture that is still disturbing us, that the elderly should not be questioned. So, but we have people who have lost direction, directionless, incompetent, merchants of impunity. Those people, I don't know how I can describe them. So the youth, the biggest challenge they are facing in Techisoka, never sideline is the intention because they know what they can do. But in most of other countries, surely, more so when they are under a dictatorship type of regime, the youth play a pivotal role. You must include them. If you don't include them, then your chances, surely, of liberating the country are quite low, seriously. So, for them being that, their goal and their aim is not about liberation. So they intentionally did that. Because we have people, as I have told you, are self-centered, who mind about their positions. You saw Amuriat saying that whoever really questions my position, I will die with him.
Yeah.
He said such, that for me, whoever questions my work, even when he has really performed completely, you see, even if these money issues have didn't come around, Amuriat boy never deserved the second term. Because he almost achieved nothing. He promised us heaven and earth and achieved zero contribution. So he almost did nothing. So that is the problem, that we have people who are in leaders, of course, who are the elderly, and they don't want the young to speak about anything.
Have the young ones positioned themselves? You know, at times we point at the elderly and not pointing at ourselves. You know, when you point like this, these three are pointing at you.
That,
so have we positioned ourselves
that eagerness,
for the elderly to trust us with leadership?
That eagerness, that, you know, is always there. And you must really play a chief role if you are the elderly, to make sure that those people are positioned. It is your role. Actually, it is not the role of the youth. It is the role of any leader to position the youth so that they become wonderful substitutes. It is your role. Because you are now trying to see the future. Because the youth are always the future. That is why you always tell the young that you are the future of the what? Of the nation. So if you are a father in a home, you must position your children for future challenges. You cannot simply, because you have money, you have everything, and you live with them, just be like that. You must position them for future what? For future challenges. If you don't do so, they will blame you that their father never did what? Neglected them, never did enough. If they see a child on the street behaving in a very stupid manner, they will blame the parents. Most of the times they say, you see, you get my point. So it is always the role of, that is why you are a leader, to make sure that you make this youth grow into politics, you empower them, not disempowering them. You see, you engage them, not disengaging them.
The reason why, what why engaging and money-minded?
The youth have been, you see, you can never tell me that the youth are money-minded than these.
You see, you call youths for a conference. The first thing they'll ask is their transport refund, kina per diem and all that. Those are the questions the youths are going to ask.
And if there are always really clear ways and people who are not myopic, I think they should be understanding those simple questions. That if you have called somebody from a university who doesn't have a job, there should be, those minor things shouldn't be a big issue. Or yes.
That should be a transport refund.
Yes.
Because you don't expect them to
yes, surely. Because the setup of political parties, most of the times, should be really in a manner that accommodates all such challenges. You get my point?
Yeah.
That is why people, the elderly, will be questioning such a minor question when they are not questioning their extravagant expenditure. In our party, we saw some things which were surely insane. Spending a lot of money in their elections, actually selection. They spend a lot of money, quite a lot of money, and they don't want you to question that.
Yeah.
But if you ask for that refund, then they want to question that. Much as we still tell the youth to be committed fighters, to commit themselves. But of course, there are unavoidable challenges and circumstances that if a person who is sure and employed, who is still a student, how would you assume that he will travel from his place to your really where you have convened the meeting? Those are very, very simple questions. Yeah. But as I have said, a party which has been in existence for now 20 years, you don't have structures surely that can accommodate such a minor challenges, then you are also failures. If you cannot accommodate really very, very simple issues, will you manage really to liberate the country? Because liberating the country also needs resources. You get my point?
Yeah.
It is not that you will simply talk and you as people and then you remove the junta. No. Surely there must be some systematic arrangement that surely makes you able to fight with those guys.
Could you paint for us a picture of what happens in youth wings of political parties? What activities take place in there? Youth wings. Do they empower you? Do they give you trainings? What exactly happens?
Sure, I think we are born unlucky, our current generation. That is why, do you really hear about any vibrant youth wing? Apparently, in opposition parties. What is the root cause?
But they are in existence. Why are they being vibrant?
So that is what I'm talking about. That even in the youth wings, for me, actually, now my participation in politics have been in a political party which never minded about the youth. You get my point? Yes, which never minded about the youth, which hasn't been minding about the youth.
You're talking of the FDC.
Of the FDC, okay? A party which doesn't want to know. Because the youth and activism are brothers and sisters. When you are calling the youth and your opposition party, you are talking about activism. You are not talking about anything else.
Yeah.
These youth don't want to hear your nonsense, don't want to hear your lengthy words and discussions.
Yeah,
what they want
they have the vibe, they have the energy.
Yes. You see, that's political praxis. That's what they want. They want their action packed. They want to see something moving. So when you're bringing them in your discussion, when there is not even a mineral water, they are not understanding you. You get my point? So I think that, surely, for the case, because for me, it has a deliberate move. It is deliberate. It is a deliberate move by these leaders to remain in power. Because they are comfortable. We talk about removing this current regime, and these who are in a position, for them, they are comfortable with their positions. Can you now convince power that because power, what, for example, the former president of the FDC power, what he minds about is his position and those minor, sums of money, of course, they get from the NRM, and of course from donors and forever. That's what he minds about. He doesn't think, has never thought about trying to create channels and ways that will enable the youth and other people involved, surely, to pressurize the current government.
Because when FDC was splitting, we never saw many youths coming out to at least say something about it, or to fight for their party. How do you expect the elderly to trust you guys with leadership and anything that goes under that?
Even apparently, there are no youth fighting for
FDC were splitting. We never saw the youths coming out or that pressure. How do you expect that? Because of Gambia, in FDC, Abavubuka bali tebakifako. How do you expect abakulu bali okubesigisa obukulembeze oba?
And even actually, before we go to that, even what I would want to air out, even sure it is very essential to talk about this. What I would like to air out is that even the youth, we have the youth who are completely, I don't know how I can say it, but I think they don't know their rights on data. They don't know their reason of existence. The youth of our country, because now I'm talking at the bigger picture, the youth of our country surely do not know their rights on data. They don't know their reason of existence. That is why, and Mr. Museveni has mastered the minds of our youth. He knows what they want. That is why, if it is to sponsor these events, dance and music events, these shows of musicians to happen, because for me I've been trying to follow the events that happen annually. There is always a show every Saturday by any musician.
Friday, Saturday,
and
Sunday,
when you go to those shows, they are frantic. They are full to the mouth. When you go to those shows. So he has mastered that the youth surely are not people who are seeing far. They just want luxuries. They want to be in dongos, but they never chakareba nyumirwe. I've been trying to cross-check. Yes, and for him, that is why in this supplementary budget, I know since that them ngazaba yimbi. kubanga akimanyi kimuyambako okendeza olugezigezi lwaki lw'abavubuka ate kyebagala akimanyi tebagala byakumenyeka because struggle is like something, it is not a simple journey, it is all about commitment. That's the reality of the matter. And the youth don't want to commit themselves. Nenge ebyokukyakala bakola ki temusobola kubeera mu kudigida mu kunywa mwenge ne mujjako ki government instead kubanga nga ntamivu because really when we say that 3/4 are the youth
abakulu abakulembedde tebakulembedde nga batulabye
kati mbadde kati njogera ku weaknesses za youth apparently now. That's what I'm talking about, that if the whole country 3/4 are the youth ate tulaba ebivulo byonna bijjula okitegeera bino ebyokukyakala byonna bibeera bijjuvu abantu babeera batamiivu. That really type demographic group of people cannot dislodge any government ne bwebeera wicket. Omutamiivu talina kyasobola kukola, abantu basuula batamidde bavubuka bannaffe. You get my point? That we have, what have we chose, what are the priorities of life to prepare, what have we prioritized, like what are the priorities? Yes. Okitegeera. So the youth, their priorities kuchakala kudigida nebirala. They are not sure much that focused.
What if we copy from the people that are organizing these Bivolo and we also organize our revolutionary
and now the case point is the case point is that why am I bringing the thing of the Bivolo? That the Bivolo will flood, but call for anything in regard to a liberation agenda, and you see the number of people you're going to get. How
there
many
are some
are
people you're
going
going to find in conferences in different parts of this country?
I mean, you will hardly get any youth in a liberation agenda conference than the other Bivulos of ours. Those Bivulos will flood.
Yeah.
But our conferences will not
here
get
you're not
people.
paying for the conference, but then someone can be able to pay for that Chivulo.
Yes. So it shows what we have surely like our priorities as the youth and what we have chosen to do. When the youth of the country chose to dance and sing and drink, then the government...
You see, Athake, as someone who is trying to lodge to kubanga mwagala kuja government is, when you want a mountain, the mountain does not move to you. You move to the mountain. So let's find the youths where they are. They will not move to us. Okay, bagala nnyo ebivulu tesobola kuteekawo ekivulu nga kiri revolutionalized a bit.
You see, you people, you have forgot
something. So we find them there.
And there is something we don't understand. I think there is something we have failed to understand. Tulemerwa n'okutegeera nti wasobola kubeerako generation ey'abasiru. Ekyo kyo kitulemye okutegeera.
In actual sense you are meaning to say
tulemerwa okutegeera nti wasobola okubeerawo generation ey'abasiru nga generation eriko percentage esinga basiru. So you see, that word is good because it is describing a certain group of people.
Yes.
You always, and I love this, always describing people how they are. Sikweru mantamata omuntu bwaba musiru aba musiru. I don't know whether you understand me well. Omuntu bw'omusanga ebyaddala ng'afuka ku kubo oyo taba musiru. Kati lwaki ogamba nti yandibadde alinga asiruwaddemu aba musiru okitegedde. You say it clearly that oyo musiru. So what I'm talking about, ntuwasobola kubeerako generation ng'abantu okutegeera kwabwe kuki kutono, and those people will be consumed. Olaba mu gundi gye balundira ebisolo, the weak animals are always consumed. Okitegedde. The intelligent ones who know how to run, how to hide and whatsoever will survive for long. These countries of ours, when the British came, weak nations were done what? We are consumed. Those which resisted, the Ethiopia of ours, which really stood their ground and resisted, they survived. So, tusobola okubeera ne generation ng'abantu bakola ki? Ekyo nakyo mukitegeere nga twetaaga okukolesa ddala amaanyi. Ebiseera bya Mwami Museveni, ebiseera bya Mwami Museveni kyana mu mukaaga, bw'osoma history obulungi ogenda okulaba nga at least that generation they were focused. They were the youth. Ne bagenda mu nsiko emyaka omukaaga, ne balwana, ne bakwata eggwanga. Ogenda okulaba all the political parties ebiseera ebyo, they were made up of the youth but committed fighters. Nga kyebagala bakola ki? Bakitegeera. Endongo tetandise leero. Endongo yaliko mu biseera bya nkaaga. Bino ebyokukyakala ebyokudigida byonna byaliko. People who managed to liberate this country, including our grandparents, abatuusa ku independence netusobola kununula eggwanga lyaffe, they were people who were determined. Si bano abasuula nga batamidde, si bano abasiiba mu ndongo, si bano abali abatagala kola ki kwerumya. That's the reality. So I think we have that challenge. I don't know how we shall really solve that, but we have that challenge. Abalowooza nti abantu b'olubato be bajja kununula eggwanga, which is not the case. A country tesobola kununulwa abantu b'olubato. It must be combined effort by everyone almost. So ne balowooza nti bw'abanga wali omwami Kyagulanyi kale ajja tulwanira anunule eggwanga, waliyo Dr. Besigye ajja tulwanira nti kati yayogera. Kati bw'ovaayo, because I'm always seeing in our societies, in our communities, era omuntu agamba munanga nze sobola kwogera ku byabufuzi ng'omulaba is complete tayagala na bumanyi n'ate akaaba ebizibu abiraba buli kimu akiraba naye nga tasobola kukola ki kwenyigira mu nsonga kwenyigira mu kintu ekyo naye abeeko kyakola ki abeeko kyakyusa contribution. So ntugwe tukyaba tukyali mu mbeera ng'abantu sekinoomu abantu abasinga balooleza ddala nti ebyaddala abalina okununula eggwanga be bakulembeze be baki kati n'abakulembeze bakitegeera nti kati nabo bali ku lwabwe baamala okitegeera kati nabo beenoonyera bye baagala bebyabwe bo nga bo.
Mukulu Athake njagala otunuulireko ku nsonga kati eriwo abantu be bazze bawamba olina agamba waayi sijja kuddamu kwogera njagala obulamu bwange nkyalina
kati kankunyonyole ku nsonga eyo tewali gavumenti gye musobola olwanyisa oba gye mugenda okulwanyisa yonna eribeerawo netakola intimidation threats netakola ebyo byonna bimulaba because for them they use it by the way it is their measure
to suppress
their weapon kubanga bo bagezesa okugezesa kwabwe because they want to see your commitment how committed are you bwe mutandika okukola bye mukola bakwateyo basatu bana they are now creating fear within your societies because it is their weapon. People, let me tell you, people, this thing we are talking about, si bintu bya kugenda kukima amazi ku luzzi, bino bintu bya lutalo, nti you must overcome fear. Olutalo terugenda mu bantu batiitizo backwards, no. You must know, tosobola genda mu muyigo oba mu lutalo n'olowooza nti ogenda kufuna buzibu. It is a risky thing. Ng'okimanyi butereevu tinesa sirisobola kukwata ng'okimanyi butereevu nti ekiti kisobola kufumita ng'okimanyi butereevu nti obulamu busobola okukola ki it is a commitment gundi journey nga weetaaga total zeal and commitment oba kitegeera so we have such challenges ng'abantu balowooza nti without pain then we'll be successful nti bw'oba togenze ku makya n'olima nti ojja kukungula naye okulima tekubangako kwangu ebyaddala enkuba ejja kukuba omusana gujja kukola ki at the end of the day okole ki there are even pests oba wakatandika okukola ki ne pests nezagala okukola ki okumalawo ebintu byo oba you get me so we have a challenge nti people ebintu byaffe balowooza nti will happen on a silver plate which is not the case it has never happened anywhere mu nsi eno tewali bantu baali bawanguddeko nga tebafunye bulumi tebaliwo you see this gorilla war of Museveni took over 500,000 people. When you read some 500,000 people, those are many people. Abasajja abali mu bigundi byeruweero, they never gave up. For them, jukira abantu abo wafa akakadde kamu ne bagaana okkiriza, ne wafa obukadde bubiri ne bagaana okkiriza, obukadde obusatu obukadde obuna ne balemerako. So you don't tell me that bantu bajja bakwata bajja tukwata ekisinga obukulu ideology ngeri muffe spirit ngeri muffe singa ebeeramu bwe bakwata other waliyo Joel bwe bakwata Joel waliyo Samson bwe bakwata Samson waliyo others that is what we talk about nga kubanga I don't think that the NRA regime surely nti erina amakomera erina military personnel esobola okukwata ebitundu by'abantu 1,45,000 oba katugamba 2 it doesn't have that yes ne bwe batta it will not kill all those real millions of people ate nga abasinga ebyaddala tebagala government tebakimanyi bulungi abantu bino byonna byetwogerako byeboogera naye what surely tebasobola kubeera involved. They don't want to involve themselves in that.
Can youths in party politics influence policies? Agamanyi bagayina obusobozi obwo babuyina.
Nakugambye surely bino ebizibu by'eggwanga n'embeera gye tulimu ng'eggwanga eteetaaga kunnyonnyolako surely nti bizibu bye tulina tebyetaaga na creatingako policies biki no abantu bo balina okitegeera kye balina okukola bino ebintu really I'm telling you guys nti even abasinga luno olutalo lwe tubeerako nti ebiseera ebisinga kale nti omuntu alina kyayagala oba ng'amanye ebizibu ensi byeyitamu teyeetaaga namunyonyola nnyo bino bye tuliko omunyonyole osooka omusomese amalwere otega ya already baabiraba ate nga naye amanyi kyasobola okucontributinga ekizibu nti abantu baffe nabo bakola ki they are lazy Museveni yabogerako abamanyi ti Ugandans are sleeping akimanyi babeera beebasi akitegeera bulungi beebafu akimanyi they are always sleeping and they don't want to do what to do anything akimanyi bulungi understands them amanyi abantu abawadde eddembe eryo etono beebake bulungi yakola ebyayagala akikoze intentionally. And when somebody says that there is some sort of security muchi we say yes, that's the reality. But it has been done intentionally. Mwebake mwerabire nti nebyaddala Museveni yatufuga. Waliwo omukazi mu Tanzania yasangawo n'angamba naye Museveni yakyafuga. Ne mugamba kiki. Nangamba nti zinali mwulira nga mufuzi nga ndi mwana muto. Nawe yakyabafuga. Nagamba Katonda yagamba bakazoba Katonda bakazoba ngamba mukamba Katonda wapi. People even from other countries bagambo baba na Uganda bali batwewunya okubanga tukyali ku mwami Museveni naye nga kati ebyaddala nze mbabuulira amazima emabegako I was always blaming really this unfair system blaming NRI biki byonna byezeekola naye kati nze amanyi gange saawa zino ngateeka ku bantu sekinomu because surely omukulembeze bw'abanga asobodde okukalakata emyaka 37 kitegeeza naawe olina kyokozeeko nnyo okubeera nga oyo mukulembeze akyali akyafuga contribution yo ate yo eba nnene because eggwanga singa lisalawo neligamba kino ffe tukiganye ekimala nakugambye era kiba kirina okukoma abantu singa bo beekolamu omulimu ne bagamba no now we are resisting such a injustice biki byonna bikomawo
abantu bali mu political parties naye nga ideologies ebibiina
kati ye Museveni yateekako political parties naye nga akimanyi yali akimanyi bulungi nti ezo political parties tezisobola mujjako kubanga era yazi governing yaziwa n'akasente kozibeezaawo nazwa yatuuka n'akaseera n'agamba alinayo yabatuusa naga kati kantandike n'obbawo akasente mubeewo kati batandike balwaniraako kati batandike balwanira akasente ako n'akitegeera era ye ajja abalaba weaknesses zaabwe weziri natuuka n'akaseera n'agamba kati bano singa nteekawo n'ekyokulya kati ebiseera bajja bimalira mu kulwanira kyakulya nze nga bwentwala ekintu kyange bwenegagawaza ne family yange n'abantu bange bwenkola ebyange byeneeyagalira okitegeera seyatuuka n'akaseera ako nakola ki n'akimanya nti alina that absolute power yanoonya electoral commission yateekawo oyo agenda kulira akakiiko ako ate n'akitegeera bulungi nti oyo yamusasula ate yamuwa n'essente zitegeka akalulu akaggwa 221 oli gundi yali akaaba ng'agamba nti talina ssente zakola ki zakutegeka akalulu okitegedde mu biseera ebyennyini yagoba abantu babaali babiri oba basatu oba baali bakoze eki n'abagoba nga almost tugenda mu kalulu kikulaga nti ye Museveni is happy with these political parties zibeerewo zimuwa obuyinza era n'enseera be nti bagenze mu kalulu akalulu ne kabeera free and gundi nti kati obukulembeze bwe buli shuwale buli okay what
today mu movement system ati katuli mu multi party politics
kati the confusion he has created kyetaaga abantu nga balina okutegeera okwawagulu okutegeera kye balina okukola bwe yakuleetingako kino n'akamarshalizinga politics nti abantu kati sekinomu balwanira waakira afuuke kansala waakira afuuke MP agende mu ssente ez'empitirivu yakikola kubanga akimanyi nti really members of parliament bali bitaano katate alina bwakola gundi Jeremiah Meanda ebyo byasalasala mu constitution zezo n'abako bagabira ebifo negundu genda nawe weesimba eri constituency nawe weesimba eri kati yakimanyi bulungi abaka 5 n'omusubu abo ne bwembawo obukadde bwe buti kati zibano bajja controlling abantu bange okitegeera era ye yakikola bulungi akimanyi bulungi nti era gyayagala kati ffe ne tumalira ebiseera byaffe mu kulwanira bifo kubanga biri so commercialized biri mu sente bw'ofuuka MP mu societies zaffe oba ofuuse wa kitalo osobola kufuna ne lead car kubanga kati opposition gundi leading opposition gundi yani lead of opposition alina lead car alina buli kimu alina beneficiaries nyingi zotamanyi na kumanya omuntu ng'oyo tebakulya ebinusu tebakulya ebinusu ntasobola kuvaayo olunaku lumu agambe nti ze kanwanyise gavumenti yanakyemalira tekisoboka lead of opposition privileges zalina Museveni zamuwa zimumala okufuna omutima omutebe baguyita omutebenkevu okufuna omutima omutebenkevu alina bwakikoze ekintu nti bw'ofuuka MP emotoka gyofunirawo nga mpya ng'obadde otambuza bigere ng'obadde olina akalimo kakadde kamu kitundu baka mitwalo 6 oba ng'olisobadde tolina mulimo tosobola kulwanyisa musajja oyo ate nga yakusasula yakitegeera bulungi ezo trips zafuna okugenda wabweru abamu bafuuka MP nga tebagenda ngako na wabweru bwafuuka MP n'atandika okutambula wuuyo Boston wuuyo gundi oli bwafuuka gundi w'ekibiina ne kibeera vibrant n'afuna privileges nga tezibangawo n'afuna ababaka ne bamuwa ssente naye n'atandika okutambula n'azunga naddeeno emyaka 5 n'agimala ng'azunga okitegedde tosobola mugamba ye obulamu naye aba yeeraba ng'omukulembeze kubanga alina abaliidinga okitegedde n'enyonyi tickets byonna bisobola abuuka n'agenda eno naddeeno n'azunga naddeeno emyaka 5 neggwako nga talina kyakoze naye ng'ali comfortable ne mugamba omuntu waffe naye ng'ebyaddala ye naye ali ku bibye lots of challenges.
So kati abavubuka abakozi batyo kubanga mubeera involved mu influencing policies eziba zigenda maaso mu bibiina bye mu subscribing iramu because it is very very important kubanga mulina influence naddala ewammwe bwe mu subscribing before bwe mbanga temulina influence mu bibiina ate nga muli mu kunenya government nayo teinvolvinze bavubuka then there is a problem because ekizibu kyamba munenya government kiri ewammwe.
First and foremost and the bottom line of this surely nti ekiri so important nti ekisooka ku resisting obulimba nga bwe muba because now the youth kyembakuutira era kyembasaba ekisookera ddala if they want to show that they are real challengers and they can fight for change of this governance and surely they can do anything they should first resist obusirisuru n'obulimbalimba mu political parties zaabwe ebintu ebyo bye tuyita ebyobusiru ffe tuyita bya busiru ebyo kubanga buli bwova ku channel ffe tukiyita kya kisulu that is a stupidity action kubanga you have lost the cause those who are treacherous nti tulina okusooka kwebuildinga mu resistance no matter how you are oba oli kika ki oba tolina kyakulya oba ki resist nti abakulembeze bamwe be mulina the youth what they should simply do is to resist being blindfolded and hoodwinked. Tebwe tubanga tulina omukulembeze waffe yadde yajja nga tumwagala nnyo bw'akola ebitali ku line ne agenda yaffe turesisting. Bw'obanga oli mukulembeze kisooka watusuubiza tutugenda okulwana olutalo olwaddala tulabike ntulwanyisa nakyemalira. Bwe nkulaba ng'otandise okuwugaawuga ogenze kukola bwe bitu teturesisting tusogereko. Ebyokwerumenta tubiveemu. Tebwobanga oli mukulembeze waffe waliwo sente zajja mu kibiina tetuzitegeera webye tutategeera tuveeyo twogere naye nti abasinga agamba banandaba batya naye kati ate babadde bampaayako okulya oluusi agendayo kubanga bamanyi nafunayo akokulya naye ate mbadde njagala funa tiketi njagala kwesimbako 226 kati ate bwe namwogerako nafuna ntya ki so nti abasinga tulinamu those challenges nti naye singa tutandika okutegeera nti tusobola okuyimirira ku mazima ne tusooka ne questioning our leaders in opposition awo n'ekintu kyaffe kijja tereera tujja kubanga tusobola tulina obu like that ability erwanyisa buno obuyinza obuliko obwanakyemalira naye nga bwe tubanga tetusobola really even questioning injustices and fair system bino ebiri mu parties ezaffe nga tetusobola kikola that means tulina kye tusobola kukola. Abakitegedde bwe tulaba ensobi tusobola nga bwe ziri clearly nti you have done this watusuubiza ki
kirala
okola kirala lwaki okola kirala ne tubanga tubabuuza bwe tubanga tetusobola kukola ekyo then we should forget about everything byonna tubiviireko ddala tugende twebake tugende mu ndongo zaffe tuzine
Because you should be asking in political parties lwaki abavubuka tetufiiriddwa.
Lwaki
Why are we being ignored?
aha ne tubuuza bwe tubanga twakulonda ne tukulonda ng'omukulembeze manifesto tuba nazo tugamba kino n'otugamba kino watusuubiza kino okozeeko kiriwa tubulayo emyaka 2 kiki ky'okozeeko in the formation of our political party what was the core mission ye watugamba ki kati ate byokola bikwatagana ne byewatugamba oba tebikwatagana. This should be the questions ate nga tezituva mu kamwa ng'ekintu kikola consistent nga tuba questioning nga tewali kutya nga twogera kati we should do. Now the most important factors I think is first and foremost to overcome fear okutya kubanga kati okutya basinga batya bwe naamwogerako munange ante mugaga alina sente because most of our people are big people, they drive wonderful cars, they have got money. Yes, kati we should first overcome fear, be open, be truth tellers, twogera amazima. Eggwanga nga likyalimu abantu abeerimbika nga balimba eryo eggwanga nalyo libafu bwefefu lukyo oba bukibiki libafu nnyo ng'abantu bonna batambulira mu n'abavubuka balimba nabo beerimba amazima bagalaba naye beefuula batagalaba ne babeera awo
batufuula ba
endowooza kitegeera n'abeera personal assistant ng'ebyaddala amazima gonna agamanyi naye olw'okuba akalimu ako bambi akaagala ayagala kubaawo such a kind of tasobola kwogera amazima so omuntu alina okwogera amazima tulina okwogera amazima nze nasalawo njogera amazima if it is A it is A si byakweruma ntamatama bw'obanga obadde ompa 10 kale kireke ndaba obwanfa
muyina ba leaders abatasobya tebagamba
anze there is no any leader if you have been my leader nabagamba nakola ekyamaanyi I was telling those people at Najana Nkumbi that I played a pivotal role to surely popularize that Amriato boy kubanga byajja nabo byali atusuubiza byali kumulumula mwagwaffe ng'abavubuka okitegedde ne tugezaako okukola kyonna kye tukola bwe yatandika okweruma entamatama ne twogererawo nga tetwagala kumanya agamba olina ngamba that teyandibadde gwe ne ngamba no kino sijja kikiriza I will not accept this okitegeera so really that is what we should be doing tulina aba opposition figures giants abalinga small gods we simply worship them ekifu n'ekitali kifu tuwanika emikono ne tuwaga ne bwayogera ebyekisirisuru ng'okiraba ddala ng'okiraba ddala byayogera ebyabatamivu really ogamba kyekyo
muli ku social media muba defending
tagambwako tayogerwako kati really ensi efaanana bwetyo oba osubira kati mwami Museveni yalwana olutalo n'agenda mu nsiko buli bw'aba aweeyinga abavubuka abafaanana bwe batyo agamba mbadde njagala fuga myaka 4 kati kanfuga 48 okitegeera ye buli bw'abeereyo nakasero gy'abeera manyi naye yeebaka nnyo azukukaleeti ate n'atawanyaawo jamu biki n'atawanya is old takyasobola zukka nga bukyali
ate n'ayogera ku beebaka ennyo
kati ye buli bw'abeera eyo yandibadde azuuka ssaawa 12 agamba ajja kuzuuka ssaawa 3 kirabika benfuga they are not serious abeera wakuzuuka ssaawa 12 agenda akalabya emirimu gye agamba nja kgenda n'essaawa 4 because people bafuga abalaba balina people who are directionless and they are worshipping them abalaba bafuga they are just there bonna basanyufu mu bye balimu ebyekisiru agamba nabadde njagala kuwumula kati ebyaddala ndowooza kanyongere emyaka emirala era Museveni temwewuunya kalulu ka 2 tugenda 26 abataweeza myaka 4 njagala bategeeza bannayuganda temwewuunya mwami Museveni ng'akomyewo kabaloti ate ng'agamba nkyasobola kubanga era asobola kubanga alaba ne bw'aba ng'akyasaga alinamu amaanyi matono ng'oba nga ali ku baluyita kugundulwa ali ku luyinga ayagala fa aya ne bw'aba asigazamu omuuko ogutasobola mu mazisawo ssaawa 2 nga alabira ddala akyasobola fuga Uganda ajja kudda nze mbabulira amazima era kati ne mutabani w'enteekateeka z'abadde akola agamba naye kiringa bano abantu bange nkyabasobola soka olindiriremu awo kyava muyita standby generator si generator standby gwe beera standby sekasooke ntwala ekintu kyange kubanga abantu asigala abapima beereyo ng'abalaba alaba byemukola mu opposition abateekamu obusente butono ne mulwanira akola bwati confusion erimu FDC yagireeta yakitegeera n'akitegeera n'agamba bano nokamba tandikeko akitegeera so though without really ngaba tetubamaze musubi there are some people abakyali cause kyofuna abantu abamu naffe tukyalwana tukyalina essuubi nti oba oli awo Katonda nga atukwatiddeko tujja tuuka ku I don't know ku triumph.
Don't you think abantu abali mu byalo beetaaga message eno, because there are a lot of people in the villages naye nga tebamanyi nti mu bo mwe muva change nti basobola okuresistinga. Don't you think mwetaaga okubanga mugenda mu byalo munyikize message eno gy'oli mu kuwa banna
eyo ensonga nkulu ate nkulu nyonze najogerako edda nengamba nti the problem we have kwe kulowooza nti mu urban centers we wasinga population nenga statistics zaffe zitulaga nti most of our people are village dwellers babeera mu byalo kati ffe olwokuba nti mu town wabeerayo omujjuzo kati abakulembeze baffe buli bwatuuka mu town ne bawuuba jukira abasinga babeeradio tebalina byakukola balaba emmotoka ne bagidukako emisinde ne baleka agamba nze mu mazzi musajja ze kiwedde oyo omutwala nze amanyi ngalina naye emiyayu bonna bali awo bonna bali naye the reality is nti twetaagira ddala kugendera ddala mu byalo tutegeeze abantu abo lwakuba the challenge we are having abantu b'omu byalo be bakyasinze okunyigirizibwa naye te be bamu abakyasinze obutafaayo n'obutayagala kumanya n'obutayagala kukola ki kutegeera ekigenda mu maaso nti ne bw'ogendayo n'obagamba anti nti ne bw'ogendayo n'obagamba olw'okubaako era ku makyana alima n'afuna ekyokulya banange I think Uganda yeetaaga because tufuna ebizibu bingi byonna bye tufuna naye olw'okuba our backbone is agriculture oli akeera n'alimayo akamone n'afuna akokulya kati buli bwakusa olubuto ne yeerabira okulowooza oba kitegedde abantu abali satisfied by the way tebalowooza abantu nga bakuse bulungi nga balidde abo tebalowoozangako
agamba dictator namulowooza
yafunye ekyokulya omugamba ki kyovala atubasangayo mu byalo nga yafuna t-shirt ya Museveni yangwa Museveni yagifuna 221 nakati ajambadde yonna yagendamu ebinnyayo nedduga ne sabuni okujoza tagirina naye agamba Museveni akole ki abeereko nenge ebyada t-shirt yamuwa gyalimiramu gyabeeramu gyeyebakamu nga talina na sabuni yakoza naye agamba Museveni akole ki Because such a kind of people really roza integrate abo message andi kyenkugambye leka nonkunyonyole ensibuko ya bino byo
mbagamba balina 30 people kubuli kyalo
kati ngenda kunyo katika nkunyonyola ensibuko bagita nsibuko the root cause ya buli kimu kyonna ngenda gikunyonyola Mwai Museveni a dictator yategeera abantu atya yakimanya ebyaddala nti abantu bano balina kuba vulnerables. How? You impoverish them by languishing in poverty. Olyoka bakole ekyoyagala. 1. Mwami Museveni kyovalaba naye akimanyi nti message tekola bw'aba agenda mu byalo agenda ne sente n'ebisawo bya t-shirt n'agenda n'obuwunga n'agenda ewaffe zinati abagenda n'obugundu bw'omunyu guno omunyu gw'ebitaano gw'olusanvu. Yes. Kati ng'akimanyi nti abantu b'ekyalo tebategeera message ndolokuba nabasindika ku kisenge talina kyakulya talina kyakwambala bwe muwa t-shirt ne mu omunyo ne muwa nemba we mitwalo 2 nga bali bantu 3 mulimu nafuna 10,000 n'amanya nti abo nja kubanga nkoze ntya mbalina. So the root cause of all of this is government's deliberate move impoverishing citizens. Abantu ne bavuwaza ne batuuka nga bali vulnerable ng'omuntu ne bw'omuwa ebitaano bono bw'omuwa 6 agamba ngenda kuwa akalulu oba kitegeera ekirala kyekoze tukirize tugaane illiteracy levels are still high. Tugendeyo mu byalo there is a high dropout rate. Abaana baviira ddala mu P5 P6 bali ba dropping out. Omuntu nga tafunye education sigunde emala okutegeera kwe ebyaddala kuba kutono. Okulowooza amanye nti ensi yeetaaga okulowooleza amanye nti abaana b'enzadde banaasanga Uganda efaanana etebyo tasobola birowooza. So Mwami Museveni yakitegeera n'agamba abantu aba bulijjo abatali ku side abatali ku minority group yange abantu abo balina okwavuwala okuli mu Uganda. It is an intention. Abantu bakimanyi. It is a tactic. Tewali dictator asobola governing eggwanga ng'abantu bagagga oba ng'abantu bali okay. Kubanga abantu okubeera okay kitandikira mu education system abantu ne basoma ne bafuna emirimu abantu ne babeera okay middle class. Naye kati Mwami Museveni yakitegeera nga alina okreatinga kwembeera abantu ekisooka ne batafuna okusoma okumala ate nga n'abasomye abayiyayiyiza ne batunda bye batunze ne basoma nabo ne batafuna mirimu etegeerekeka kwe babeeraawo nabo nga they are vulnerables. nti nasomye kati namala Makerere bwagenda ku street namala ko emyaka ena is a vulnerable bwoja no mu t-shirt naye ajambala kubanga nekyo kwamba takola ki nakyo takirina so he has created vulnerability intentionally na creating a poverty intentionally na impoverishing citizens intentionally those people na yachi money they don't need message they need omuntu obutono ngesera angakasera kakaluka koza katya katuse of which these opposition parties they don't have the resources atebo tebalina sente za kutwala yo tukuwaka unga tukwechi they do not have it ye mwami 7 yalina Bank of Uganda emikono jetali independent yalina ebisawo bya sente agenda bagabanyako mu myaka 5 nga nawo mbukulembeze bwe osokwanga ofunyemu 12 ne t-shirt ndoze bali 15 nakasaketi komunyo nga mbukulembeze bwe myaka 5 ekyo n'ekyo ofunyemu ofunye mitwalo ng'ebiri n'obutawera ye nakutegeera nakubalira awate ngo wadde emisolo you get my point
so mbategezezako their role because now right now they are playing
they have a role to play naye era we have a lot of problems bwe tufuna abakulembeze nga abakulembeze be tulina ng'ate abavubuka be bawulirizaamu ng'omulimo gwabwe nabo ate kati bakuba ndongo babeereeyo bali mu kutambula bali mu kucakala bali mu kwejovaana abantu abo ebyaddala njagala kutegeeza tebalina kubanga nabo they don't want to know ekitegeera tebalowoozeza ku ekyo nti even the challenge we are having is leadership crisis. I call it leadership crisis ebyaddala nti even the people that should be doing that nga batekinga center law they are not doing it nabo bali wano bali mu Kampala bali mu America badduka emisinde bazunga baddeno badderi you see that thing is for me it puts me down and ngamba na surely which kind of leaders do we have estegede bali wano ku lwali mu lwali lw'etown bwatuuka wali ne bawagane that is what he wants tasuka waawo katato omuntu w'omukyalo naye n'agamba waayi kambeere mu nnimiro yange obwavu bunzite katonda yalikola ki yalimanya oba you get me so the challenge is really stem from biviira ddala eyo wansi nebiranda bwebityo challenges nosanga nga abantu nabo balina obuzibu ne ba leaders balina obuzibu nga ne government gyetulwanyisa naye erina obuzibu naye nga surely when you talk about such mubeera nga abali hopeless there is still room nti ensi tusobola okuvaayo ne twebako kye twekolera
weewaawo nga tumaliriza your last message to the youths particularly and then to the leaders
katata abavubuka bano nga bwe nabagambye kye balina osooka okutegeera kwe kumanya nti ensi Uganda liberation struggle fene tukakatako guno omulimo sigwa abakulembeze betulonda wabula naffe tukakatako kwe kumanya nti future y'eggwanga surely okutandika okulowooza ku future y'eggwanga so si byakati n'ekirala real okumanya our roles ne tumanya bwe mba njagala enkyukakyuka ze ki kyensobola okukola what should be my contributions ki kyensobola okugattako that is what they should do and again overcoming fear and standing for the truth those are 3 simple messages for the leaders leaders who ate bampisa bubi nnyo leaders abobo I don't know but surely leaders one when I will describe how they are that they are directionless they are incompetent surely they are self-centered egocentric they are mind about themselves they don't want tubanga kati nandibadde mbawa message nga ndaba balina kye bagezaako okukola naye ngenda okulaba nga bo bali ku byabwe
tebagezezaako yadde
ate kati gwe bye bakusuubiza bw'owabalaba 221 jjukira bye bakusuubiza kiki kye bakozeewo ekyamaanyi zingenda okulaba nga tukyali ku zero tukyali wansi tetwali kyamaanyi era kikyuse so for me kubanga kati opposition teriiwo okubeera awo okwambala busuutusuutu kweteeka mu parliament kwegiraagira yo opposition eriwo opressurizing government ne tubeera nga mu kaseera kano tulina hope nti we tutuusiza government tumalayo ebitundu nga 3 tugivuunike naye bw'ombuulira saawa zino really opposition bwe nkubuuza nti percentage ki gye contributors oba tutuuseewa era naawo ngamba tulinga ku 10 oba 0 tewali kyamaanyi kiriwo so they have done completely nothing so ndowooza nti abakulembeze baffe feno tugenda ku resistinga and we keep telling you openly tubagamba amazima nti byemukola bya kisiru oba si bituufu oba kitegedde nti ebintu ebyo si bituufu fe abamu n'abalala tusaba abantu abalala baveeyo bagaana abakulembeze baffe bye bakola ebitali bituufu bagambe si bituufu ebituufu bagambe nti biki bituufu ebyokwerimenta amatama babikole ki babiveemu so abakulembeze baffe beddemu balowooze ku future y'eggwanga ebyendera balowooze ensi yaffe n'abeera wa myaka 3 maaso balowooze ku nsi yaffe ekyo kye mbasaba naye bwebanga bakyalowooza ku mbuto zaabwe nga bwe bakikola kati bwebanga bakyalowooza ku families zaabwe nabo nga bakyalowooza ku bifo byabwe position zaabwe then tukyalina olugendo oluwanvu.
Your last closing remarks to everyone.
Well, kati nze closing remarks zigenda okubeera okwebaza the Alternative Uganda Digital TV tolwokuba mukoze kyamaanyi nnyo okuteekako platform abantu really babeeko boogera ebirowoozo byabwe moso mu liberation gun struggle yaffe nti media houses zetusinga zetulina wano mu Uganda of course nti zirina limits n'ebirala nti okuriskinga obulamu bwamwe one ne muriskinga opportunities because you would have got lots of opportunities ne mugamba no, let's create a platform that surely favors the majority or the unprivileged Ugandans. So the closing remarks nsimba mwe about the digital olw'omulimu gw'ettendo gwe mukola surely okutambuza message ya liberation.
Thank you so much. Amen. Njagala okwebaza mwena mwena ababaddeko ku show yaffe y'olunaku lwa leero okuva waliwe twatandikidde ku ssaawa 2 ate paka wano tuwunzikidde show yaffe nga ebula eddakiika nga 4 ku 3 okuwera essaawa 4. Thank you so much. Aba comment ze basomye comment yo manya tekibadde kibuuzo naye nga njagala okwebaza nnyo webali kubeerako nga otulaba bulungi. I want to thank you Arthur K for coming in. I want to thank you for giving us the feel like we are having Dr. Kizza Besigye in the studios, the voice, the articulacy. You can really tell that you are a student of Dr. Kizza Besigye. Thank you so much. You have not disappointed him. I want to wish you a good day. Tusinkane olunaku lw'enkya essaawa zigenda kubeera 2 naye nga in a few hours from now tugenda kubanga ate tuli wali ku popopo UIDR mean bayinaawo big tent tugenda kubanga ate bayina ensonga ze boogerako eri eggwanga tugenda kubanga tubibaleetera butereevu okuvaawo emonde basonja kubakubiriza nnyo mulaba ka notification tubeereko tuwulire ate kifa esaide. A very good morning mbaagaliza olunaku olulungi.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.